How long?
Uh, Hey, everybody. We was having a little background moment
Yes,
real
we
quick.
were.
Yes, well, welcome everyone to Walls of Wellness. Thank you for joining us today. I am your host, Dr. Kathleen Walls, and I am super excited to be here with my guest today, Michelle Hall-Boggan, licensed clinical social worker. How are
Mm.
you doing today,
I'm
Michelle?
so grateful. I'm just so grateful to be here. Yes, I'm
Mhm.
grateful to have life. I'm
Yes.
grateful to be here with you. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes, you are welcome. So, I started laughing. I sent you a message yesterday that I was cracking up because I kept looking at your website and the KEW kept jumping out. And I was like, why am I so attracted? I mean, just really in a moment. Why am I so attracted to those letters? And it was like, girl, those are your initials.
You knew it felt right. You
It
knew it
did.
felt right.
I was like,
You've
is this
seen that your whole life.
exactly? And now I'm really gonna make you laugh because I'm gonna age myself here. So when I was in grade school, there was, and I know some people are listening. Hey, Kelly. Kelly is joining us. Good afternoon, everybody. Kelly is joining us from Mississippi.
Nice.
And so when I was in grade school, there was a band and they had a song. And it was I'm just cool, cool, dun, 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 right? And so it was the time. And so of
Mhm.
course theirs was COOL, but I was like KEW space is cool. So
Won't we make it up? We will make up our own mantras. Oh, we were so creative. Yes, we were. Mhm.
so when I was looking at your website and I saw KEW, I was like, oh, she just cool, cool. Dun. And I was like, girl, those are your initials.
Still, we received that. Listen, there's no coincidences,
None at
right?
all. None at all. Well,
Mhm.
Michelle, please take a moment. Hey, Shannon. Hey, Leslie. Please take a moment. Leslie is cracking up. Say-
Because everybody remembers that song. Now you're
exactly.
gonna have me singing that all night. Yes. Hmm.
Hey, Kelly, ain't nobody asked you. Look. All right, Michelle, take a moment and please introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay. So you said my name and it's right there on the screen. I am Love.
Mm,
I like to introduce myself as Love because that's what I am. That's what I've been filled with. That's what I
mhm,
give. That's a big part of my purpose, is love. And I feel like we all have so many different roles that we get caught
mhm,
up into describing ourselves in roles, and we're
mhm.
more than the roles that we play. So that's what I like to start with, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm love. I'm
Mhm,
also all the roles, right? Like a wife, a mom, a daughter, a friend, and I'm a social worker. Right? Like
mhm,
I am a social worker. I've had a lot of different roles in professional life,
mhm,
but it's all been under the umbrella of social work.
mhm,
And now I am a psychotherapist. And
mhm,
so my main thing is my main thing, my main thing
mhm.
is my main thing. And that is being a therapist and helping people with their emotional and mental wellness. So,
Yes,
yeah,
I love it.
proud mom of Nyla and Nasia. Shout out to my girl,
Shout out to them and proud wife of
Mr. Shannon Bogan, of course.
mhm, mhm.
Yes.
We
Thank you
got to
for
shout
being
him
here.
out. Look, and he is definitely here. He in here waving. So
Hey, honey. Yes, he's my support. He is my support. I'm so grateful for him. Yeah.
yes, and you are being confirmed with the love. Tony said, "Yes, love. Yes." All right. So let's talk about this journey into being a clinician. What led you to even want to do it? When did you discover this is what you wanted to do? I knew in the sixth grade, and it was career day for me that I made the declaration that I was going to be a psychologist. And so I followed that path forward. How about you? When did you discover this is what you wanted to do?
It's I shared with you a little bit before because I always laugh at, how people used to study psychology at undergraduate when they couldn't
Mhm.
figure out what they wanted to do.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's always funny to me because I went to school to be a psychologist, right?
Mhm.
Like I had every intention on being a clinical psychologist before I even went to school. But I
Yes.
have to say, Doctor, it wasn't something I decided. It's a calling,
Come on.
right?
Yes.
Like the reality of it is a calling. And anybody
Mhm.
who is really in social work, no matter what role you play,
Mhm.
um, no matter what you're doing, if you're in social work, you know it's a calling.
Yes.
You have to be called to do it. And so I
Yes.
just remember being a little girl
Mhm.
and not even having the words for it because I
Mhm.
just didn't. And knowing that I was supposed to help people with their mental health. I was
Mm.
supposed to help people understand each other because I could
Mhm.
see as a young person the gap in communication
Yes.
between people. And I would always want to help, connect the dots.
Mhm.
And so as I grew older and understood, what my desire was, I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. And
yeah.
so you followed this path, this journey, and recently acquired the extra letters.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Look at the smile on her face, y'all. Look, look, look.
I'm so grateful. It's nice to just sit and have a moment to
Yeah.
really be in this spirit of gratitude because I
Mhm.
have been very busy
Mhm.
lately and I'm grateful for being busy.
Mhm.
Um, and doing what I'm called to do.
Yeah.
But you know how you're always like striving to get to the next goal, to the next
Yes.
goal, to the next
Yes.
goal, that sometimes we don't stop to celebrate it. And so
Come on.
right now I just kind of got overwhelmed with like
Mhm.
I'm actually having this conversation right now.
Come on. Come on.
Because
And wait a minute, and I'm gonna shake some tambourines for you because you did it. You did it.
yes, I'm so grateful. And one of the things that I work with people on is resilience,
Mhm.
right? We work with people on resilience, and the word almost I really kind of don't like it.
Mhm.
But what I like to share with people is that now there's so much research showing us that resilience, the key ingredient of it is really being flexible,
Come on.
right? And
Mhm.
so when we're flexible, we can be resilient. And so I told you I wanted to be a clinical psychologist. I wanted to get my PhD. Okay.
Mhm.
I wanted to be Dr. Hall.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's what I knew. And
Yeah.
as I graduated and came to New Jersey, right? Florida
Mhm.
A&M, shout out to Florida A&M. I
Come
had
on.
wonderful, wonderful professors who guided me and instructed me along the way.
Mhm.
But as life went on, Shannon and I became parents. We were
Mhm.
married, and I was in the field of social work, just working,
Mhm.
right? Just
Mhm.
working, working, working. And that dream of mine had kind of gotten away from me
Mhm.
because I remember going to an open house at Rutgers in North Jersey when I first moved to New Jersey.
Mhm.
And the women that I was working with were all looking at an MSW program. And I was like, I don't want to do that.
Mhm.
I'm not a social worker. I
Mhm.
want to be a clinical psychologist. And that was years ago.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, I got the opportunity to go back to school. I was focused on going back to school, right? Like
Mhm.
I had never given up on the dream to go back to school to be a clinician, even though I was in a very well paying positions, very
Mhm.
high positions in social work. A lot of the students that were in school with me were in school so that they could do what I was doing.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I was kind of going the opposite
Good
direction,
way.
not
Mhm.
opposite because they weren't clinicians, but they were getting their graduate degree so that they could oversee programs versus I was getting mine so that I could be a therapist. And it just made
Yes.
sense because I am a social worker.
Yes.
I
Yes.
just am.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so it made sense for me as an adult after my girls were bigger and my husband was done with law school and doing
Mhm.
well with his career. It
Mhm.
made sense for me to do a 3-year program and be able to
Mhm.
do the exact same thing.
Yes.
And, it's not about my ego or wanting to be called doctor because I recognize that I'm very worthy,
Yes.
and I don't
Yes.
need that title. I just needed to be able to do what I'm doing. And so I'm here doing it
Mhm.
now. I graduated in 2019.
Mm. Right before everything. You had
Right before everything, and in the
Mhm.
midst of it all, taking the
Yeah.
journey to get the credentials to be able to actually practice therapy, because it's a lot of work. People don't realize how much work it is. It's a lot of work.
Mhm. Mhm. It is not to be played with. It is not for the
Mhm.
weary. Let me say
Mm-mm.
that. And that's what, a lot of times when people are going back to school, I say, yes, the classes may be 2 nights a week, 3 hours each. You might have 6 hours, but your outside of class time is anywhere from 30 to 40 hours a week. And that's just class. That's not the rest of life and the various roles that you have going on in your life. So it's a serious consideration and navigation that you have to do.
Yeah. And a lot of clinical work, which I appreciate, a
Yeah.
lot of clinical work, a lot of supervised clinical work, a
Mhm.
lot of test taking, a lot of money paying, a lot of
Mhm.
background checks, a
A lot
lot
of
to
background checks.
be able to
Yes.
do it. And I'm grateful for all of that,
Yeah.
So yeah, because it's definitely helped me along the way.
Real talk. All right. So now you go through this, and yes, Shane Frederick says, my, the shift before the shift. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's good. Who said that?
V. Shane Frederick, and he is not one to be playing with. Yes.
That is real. That is so real. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing happen. Everything happens just the time that it needs to happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The shift before the shift. Yeah.
Yeah, you were definitely prepared. And just a shout out for Shane. Shane is a phenomenal jazz pianist and vocalist. He performs regularly at Eddie V's on in Cherry Hill. Hmm.
Right. Okay, so I've never oh my goodness, that is amazing. So I've never been, surprisingly, like I like to
Uh-huh.
go out to nice dining.
Yes.
And my birthday is coming up and my girlfriends are taking me there. So we're looking
Sure.
forward to going there. Yeah.
Shane, put in the chat what days you're there, because he's at the one in King of Prussia on some days and he's at Cherry Hills on the other days. So once he puts
Okay.
it in there, you make sure you stop by and tell my godson hello. He is
Okay.
fantastic. Fantastic. All
Will
right.
do.
So now, you're going on this wellness journey for self. You're saying, I knew that I wanted to be a healer. You're answering the call that
Mhm.
is inside of you. He said Cherry Hill Sundays and Thursdays. So you answer, thank you, Shane. You answer the call inside of you, because so many of us will get the call, but we don't answer the call, or
Mm.
we let the call continue to ring and delay picking up that call.
Yes. Like, mhm.
Right. But you answered the call. And what has occurred for you personally and professionally since answering that call?
Oh, wow. So the shift before the shift, that is just such a true statement. That was so on point, Godson. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I had graduated in 2019. I was still in a, leadership position, leading an organization around clinical outcomes, around risk management, process improvement and, project management, all this stuff, making a decent salary, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
part of the journey to be the clinician in the social work lane is that you have to, and I'm sure it's like this for the others, is that you have to, like you said, you have to work like 40 hours a week,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, and that's separate from the full-time job. So I was really kind of caught in this quandary, like, okay, I got the education, I did my internships, but now I have to do this extra step in order for me to get the licenses to do what I said I wanted to do. So
Mm-hmm.
that's going to take that drastically took away the
Yes.
money earning ability that I had, right? To
Yes.
be able to just stay focused on that. But
Mm-hmm.
because everything changed in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
everything changed. I was able to just sit and be
Mm-hmm.
and get those hours done,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sometimes it's not what you planned, but it's how it happens. And
Yes.
so I was grateful for that, because then I could really focus on answering the call.
Yes.
And the first part of it really was just working on me,
Mm-hmm.
working on myself, you
Yes.
know, um, coming from the field, the work I was doing. I was very fix-it oriented.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I learned as a clinician, one of the first lessons is you're not fixing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about we're not fixing anyone,
Yeah.
right? And so a lot of self-acceptance, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of understanding, and
Mm-hmm.
honestly, a lot of focus on holistic practices.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were about taking care of our bodies and our minds when
Yeah.
2020 hit. Everybody wanted mental health. Everybody wanted to know
Mm-hmm.
how to boost their immunity.
Yes.
So I was really immersed in that from learning, being, taught how to do yoga nidra,
Mm-hmm.
which is a meditation process where it's physical,
Mm-hmm.
and it's neuroscience.
Mm-hmm.
So learning how to get deep into my subconscious and
Mm-hmm.
plant seeds to boost my immunity,
Mm-hmm.
and calm myself,
Mm-hmm.
learning how to eat properly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
really
Talk
going on
about it.
that kind of journey. And as I was doing that, I was sharing it with other people.
Yeah.
So before I even got the license to do the psychotherapy, as I was continuing to practice under someone else, I opened up the business, Keep Evolving Wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was focusing on some of those holistic practices.
Yes. What was that like for you? So, right, we hear this term holistic. So I just want you to break it down for people. We hear the term holistic often. What is? Yes, thank you, Leslie. Leslie is a fantastic supporter of my podcast. She always reminds people, make sure you get your pen and papers ready to take some notes. Get your tab open, get your voice recorder ready because you're going to hear something that is going to help you and or someone else the things that we're talking about, if you hear them, if you need to hit the replay button, that works too. I also ask y'all comments. So many of y'all will text me and email me your comments. Please also put them underneath the write-up. The engagement helps with the algorithm. And if you haven't subscribed to Ask Dr. Walls 525 yet, please do so. Now, I'm going to drop your link to Keep Evolving Wellness Center in the chat for people to check it out. But it is currently getting to ready to evolve as
It
well.
is. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, as I am planning this launch,
Yes.
which I know we'll get to, but as I'm planning this launch, a lot of upgrades are happening.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Well,
a
I
lot of.
love it. I mean, and it's naturally going to come because you're calling it in. You said keep evolving. You didn't say I once was evolved and this what happened. So
I love that. I love that. I had a woman before challenge me on, well, when do we ever like get to it? Like,
yes,
why do we have to keep evolving? When do we ever when are we done? And I'm like, I don't know about you, but like I'm always learning.
yes,
Oh,
always, always, exactly. So let's talk about this idea of holistic first, and then let's move into this what this person said. When do we get to plateaus? Do we get a chance to sit down and rest in this evolving space? Let's talk about it.
I love that. So holistic to me, when I talk about holistic, you heard me talk about meditation, neurology, because it's connected, eating.
Mhm,
Another thing that I really started doing that I hadn't been doing was movement, right?
mhm,
Like there's certain words that I just don't like
mhm.
exercise.
She said, "We're gonna
Movement,
put that
right?
over there." So, right.
So when I talk about holistic practices, I'm
Yes.
talking about different areas of wellness,
Okay.
right? So we're
Mhm,
talking about physical, we're
mhm,
talking about our own personal area of wellness, our relationship with ourself and digging into our creativity and understanding what we want, like what's
mhm,
coming from our gut.
mhm,
I'm talking about relationship wellness.
mhm,
I'm talking about just emotional heart wellness, right?
mhm,
How do I take
mhm.
care of myself in an emotional way? I'm
Yes.
talking about like how do I expand and show up vocationally, right?
Mhm,
Or academically? Like what am I doing that is connected to my voice and
mhm,
what I'm doing in the world,
mhm,
like to earn money,
mhm,
or to just give, right, to
mhm,
the world. I'm talking about my spiritual insight,
Yeah.
you know, and my spiritual practices.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say holistic, I'm talking about all the different areas and all the different dimensions of wellness that,
Yeah.
you know, comprise us of who we are,
Yes.
how we
Thank
live.
you. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you. And I think it's so important because one of the things, and especially I would say since the shut-in of 2020, as people began to come back out, it was how do I achieve and maintain this quote unquote work-life balance?
Mhm.
And one of the things that I know I've been working on with people is understanding that it's not work or life. It's not two things because we hear those two words and we go dichotomy, right? We
Mhm.
polarize. It's one or the other. And we have lived in very much either or type space. And we
Yeah.
have to learn that we have to think holistically, as you're talking about, right? That it is the both and that it is the all of the components that make up life. And generally, there's about 9 to 10 areas of wellness, and we must make sure that we're tending to all of those aspects of our personal garden. So,
Yeah.
as you mentioned, spiritual, creative, right? Career, educational, physical, right? We
Financial.
financial, spiritual, relation, social, right? We have to
Mhm.
look at all of the different look at who we are holistically and
Mhm.
make sure that we are well in each space.
Yes. Yes. And just sometimes just thinking about that is overwhelming.
Mhm.
Mhm. And
Mhm.
so that's why I love being able to partner with my clients to
Mhm.
help them navigate. Because one of the things, because this is life, right? And all those things. And, you know, I've been saying, like, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. It's
Uh-huh.
all good stuff going on.
Come on.
So it could be stressful still,
That's
you
right.
know? So like like I love partnering with people to see it and helping them navigate all the different things
Yeah.
or prioritizing because
Yeah.
we don't have to work on all of the things all the time.
That's right. That's right. And Shane put up another word, which is great, and integrate, right? How do we integrate these things? How do we incorporate these things into our lives? And one person who I was coaching earlier today, they were talking about activities that they're looking forward to, activities that they enjoy. And it was like, okay, when are you going to integrate them? When are you going to incorporate them into your life so that it's no longer future planning, but it's actually part of your existence?
Yes. And that oftentimes it's like the movement, right?
Yeah.
If you get up and get to the place to make the movement, then
Yeah.
the rest of it is easy.
Yeah.
But we have conditioned, sometimes we're so conditioned, our brains, the way they're wired and fired
Mhm.
together, that we
Mhm.
don't think we can start doing it now. And
That's
that's
right.
where our work really begins,
Yes.
right? Is
Yes.
like what's going on with our thoughts.
Yes.
Like, let's grab those thoughts and how do we rewire our brain so that
Mhm.
we know that we can
Yes.
actually start working on what we desire today. Like we can live
Yes.
that life right now.
Come on. Exactly. I remember I'm gonna age myself again, Kelly from Mississippi. Uh, and I remember I was watching, and don't you spit out this when I tell you what I was watching. I was watching Arsenio Hall, the first version of it, and Eddie Murphy was on, and he was talking about, I believe it was either Arsenio Hall or Johnny Carson. Either way, I'm dating myself. And Eddie Murphy was saying that he caught himself saying, one day I'm going to do this, and one day I'm going to do that, and someday I'm going to do this. And he said one day it dawned on him, what day is someday? What day is one day? He said, am I going to look up in the sky and it's going to say one day or someday? And that's
Mm.
when I know I'm supposed to do everything I said I've been wanting to do. He said when he had that realization, he realized that one day and someday was today. It-
Wow. It's so
yeah.
powerful.
And he started making the change in the way he interacted with life from that moment forward.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was on the first Arsenio Hall show. So
That was
and
either
look at how
Arsenio or Johnny Carson. So we talking the 80s.
and look at how he has just soared. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is an awesome example. That's an
Hmm.
awesome example. But we get in our own way.
Yeah.
We get in our own way with our mindset. And it's
Yeah.
not that, as clinicians, we understand that people have had something happen to them or not happen for them that has impacted the way that they behave and think and feel, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
actually are so powerful. Our minds, our brains are so powerful and so
Hmm.
pliable that we
Hmm.
can reset ourselves.
Yes.
It's just about believing that we can and starting to practice on practical ways,
Come on.
right? Like
Yeah.
in very practical ways. So, one of the things that I enjoy is making mental health accessible to us and for us,
Hmm. Hmm.
because I think so many people have done it for so long and we've kind of shied away from it.
Yes.
The sit down, as you call it, that
Yes.
pulled a lot of our people in our community into
Yeah.
wanting to take care of their mental health and their
Mm.
emotional health and
Yeah.
understanding, respecting the value of it.
Yes.
But being able to just know that we can is
Hmm.
important,
Yeah.
and recognizing that
Hmm.
we get comfortable in the can't.
Hmm. 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 And I think the other thing is too, right? So now we have been given permission, right,
Mm,
to sit down and discover and understand who we are. And then you have people who go, okay, now how do I do this? Right? Like I have all my clients, whether they're counseling or coaching clients, and I say, all right, I need you to journal. And they say, for real, I've never journaled before and I don't even know how to start. So, how do you work with those people? What are recommendations you have for people to start this journey? Or and in your case, because you're promoting that people keep evolving wellness. I
mhm.
see Edna; she's a health advocate from the Health Zone. She talks about incremental steps when she works with people, small steps, one at a time, lifestyle changes.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is great. That's great because it has to be something realistic and it has to
Mm-hmm.
be something that we can see that we can do that builds our hope to continue to do it and practice
Mm-hmm.
it. And
Mm-hmm.
that was really the inspiration for me writing the book
Do tell.
because so
Hold
the
the
book
book up, please. Hold the
you
book
had me
up.
bring the book.
I sure did.
So this was drawn by my oldest daughter, Nyla Bogan, and I'm so
Mm-hmm.
proud of this drawing because
Mm-hmm.
we were here and I was like, here, draw something for me.
Right.
Because I was actually working on a coloring book. So she drew and I said, oh, that's the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's Dimensions of Evolving, the healing journey, how to reduce, release, and eliminate stress,
Yes.
right? So that we can enhance wellness and live on purpose. And it is
Mhm.
a pocket book, right? It's a
Come
real
on.
simple read. It's not that thick. And I did it because of that, because I get um tired.
Mhm.
I'll just
Mhm.
say that, of
Yes.
kind of hearing people talk, right? Like
Yes.
we're all talking. We're all
Mhm.
talking, everybody
Mhm.
talking. And in
Mhm.
2020, I felt like it was a lot of conversation and a lot of people having a lot of opinions, and that's fine. But for the people who really wanted to heal, what did that mean and how do you
Yeah.
do it? And that's what this is about. I
Okay.
broke down the dimensions in the different areas of wellness, and
Yes.
I gave really practical things that people can do,
Yeah. Can you
right?
give
Like
us a little taste?
so maybe you go in for a walk,
Yes.
right? And looking at nature
Mhm.
and actually just listening to your breath,
Yes.
right? Like that is basic, but it's challenging because we don't just stop to do that,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
Maybe you don't go for a walk. Maybe you're just looking at nature,
Yes.
just looking at it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and when I work with people, I'm listening to them, what they're telling me their
Mhm.
concerns are,
Mhm.
and I'm listening to what they're not saying.
Yes.
But what I do know is that when we are able, because everybody is in a different place, some, like you said earlier, whatever works for the person is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But one of the main things that I like to work with people on is really just focusing on their breath.
Mhm.
Because when we can regulate our nervous system, we
Mm.
can start doing whatever it is we want to do,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Yep. Yep. It's so important because, right, we breathe, we think we're doing it correctly. And the reality is so many of us are not breathing correctly. And it all starts with the breath of life. Like if we ain't got that, we, we that's a different conversation.
That's right. Or no conversation, right? Like, right? And so yeah, it sounds weird when people hear us say it because breathing is involuntary, but the way we can use our breath to
Yeah.
recharge our body and revitalize our cells and all the things help us stay healthy
Yeah.
mentally and physically, you
Yeah.
know. So I kind of start with that mind body connection, giving
Hmm.
people education on that, helping them regulate their nervous system,
Yeah.
just taking them through a breathing
Yeah.
activity, you
Yeah.
know,
It's,
is
go
one of
ahead.
the ways that I like to start. And also start by talking about, well, what are we healing from? Like,
Go
what is the
ahead.
issue? You
Hmm.
know, because
Hmm.
another lesson I learned as a young clinician, a early clinician, was it's not everybody, Michelle. Don't say everybody, because don't
Hmm.
say all. Some people don't feel that way. Some people haven't experienced that. And
Hmm.
so I believe that we all have had some form of injury,
Yes.
right? Some type of injury. And we know that any injury is trauma.
Hmm.
And so just starting to educate people on trauma and what that looks like, because some people will say, I haven't had any trauma or I don't react to trauma, but they don't have that awareness.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
being born is traumatic, literally
Yes.
going through the birth process
Come on. Come on.
is
Yes.
trauma. And
Yes.
so like I kind of just start with educating people on that,
Yeah.
educating people on their breath, and
Yeah.
educate and giving like simple things that you can do in every area of
Hmm.
your wellness to help you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I have put the link to her book in the chat. Is your book only available through your website?
Yes, right now it is. Right
Okay.
now it's only available through my website. You can contact me
Hmm.
directly. You can go on my social media in the link and it'll take you right there.
Yes. Yes. All right. Yeah. Look, Shane just said, Lord, when trauma is your baseline, baby.
And it is for a lot
A
of us.
lot.
And we don't even know it. We're living in it. We're like,
Yes.
it's such a frenetic energy right now.
Yes.
Like, right? Do you
Yes.
feel it? Like it's this energy right now. And you know, being able
Yes.
to grab what we can control,
Yes.
which is our breathing,
Come on. Come
and paying
on.
attention, just paying attention to what we're
Yes.
thinking, because our thoughts are like always running. And so
Yes.
sometimes just grabbing it and saying, oh, what is that I was thinking about? Right?
Hmm.
And then changing it to
Yes.
what you want to think about.
Yes.
Right? That's a basic thing that everybody can do. It's just practice.
Come on. So let me say this. Shane, Leslie is throwing up the tambourine for that one. Lord, when trauma is your baseline. I hope y'all are catching these pieces, these nuggets, these gems, these lessons that Michelle is giving you right now, as she's saying, right? Take control of your thoughts, grab your thoughts, pull it down. This is why we tell you to journal, put it
Mhm.
on paper. This is why I had this whiteboard behind me, because my thing is sometimes the writing is on the wall and some of y'all ain't reading it, so therefore I just write it out and we read it together. Okay.
I
So
love that. I love that.
when we see it, then we can control it. It makes it tangible. As she's saying, this is the thought that keeps coming into my head. This is not the thought that I want to carry and keep having. Now, let me manipulate it to create the thought that I actually want to have. I then get to reinsert it into my head so that it becomes the verse that I'm now playing, right? It
Yes.
becomes the hook that I'm now singing.
Yes. And what a difference that does for our body and our minds, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I love that when trauma is your baseline. He got some zingers, don't
Oh,
he?
I told,
But
look, wait till you hear him sing.
oh,
Look, and
and
play.
we will,
Yes.
we will. But when trauma is your baseline, that is such a good point to the fact that we are all born through a very
Come on.
difficult time,
Come
right?
on.
Like coming
Yes.
through to life through the womb out
Yes.
here to this world, that's
Yes.
trauma. And so
Yes.
if we all have at least that experience, then we know we can show ourselves some compassion,
Come on.
right? We can show ourselves some compassion and say, oh, there's a reason why it's this way. Because we love to say,
Yes.
that's just how I am. That's just
Yes.
how I am. That's just how it is. That's just
Right.
like, it's a reason.
Yeah.
And we can actually be exactly how we want to be. If you want to be like,
Mm-hmm.
that's just how I am, and you're okay with that, that's fine. But if there's some things that are hurting, if there's
Yes.
some relationships that you are constantly struggling with, you
Yes.
know, if you're constantly finding yourself irritated, aggravated, just like trying to pull yourself up, then there's some
Mm-hmm.
things that you can do to actually live the life you really want to live,
Come on.
honey.
Come on.
Live like you are love. And
Ooh.
that's living on vacation every
Mm.
day.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I used to say, I don't want to live a life like I don't have to run to vacation. Like we
Yes.
work, and then we run to vacation. Why can't
Yes.
my life just be like at ease? Why can't it be at
Exactly.
flow? Right. And so when
Yes.
we work on those different areas of wellness that it can be,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. And so Darcel is saying, yes, alchemy, right? Be the alchemist. Change these things inside of you so that you are the treasure that you seek,
Yes.
right? We have that capability. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
And we
Yeah.
are that. We are that. That's why everything is pulling us in so many different directions to keep us distracted from knowing that we are that. You
Mhm.
know? Yeah.
Mhm.
We are that power.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when you shut that noise down, and one of the easiest ways you already mentioned is by breathing, right? When you choose to focus on your breath, when you listen to it, when you hear it, when you feel it, you start to learn the difference between an excited breath, a sad breath, a peaceful breath. You learn all of those different things. I used to teach fifth grade, and I would wear my hair back in a bun, and I had it there, and the students would swear, and a couple of them are on this call right now, so I know they're laughing. They would swear it was an I, because they were like, how does she know what is going on as I'm writing on the chalkboard, right? I'm aging myself again as I'm writing on the chalkboard, not a whiteboard or a smart board. And right, but you know what it was? I knew how each of them breathed. I knew the
Mm.
sound of their breath. And so when one would start to breathe differently, I knew who it was and I knew what they were up to.
And their energy, you
Yes,
know,
yes,
because you were in tune.
yes,
Yeah.
100%, 100%.
That's
So,
so deep. And
so
being in tune with our own energy and knowing what we're breathing like when we're feeling away. Because nobody tells us to pay attention to how we're feeling.
come on.
People tell us to just get stuff done, get it
Yes,
done, do this for me, do that for me. I
yes,
need you here, I need you there, being pulled in all these different directions. Nobody says, hey, you know how important it is to know how you're feeling? That can
yes,
help you show up the way you want to or take care
yes,
of yourself.
yeah,
You know, so just
yeah.
recognizing, being in tune with your breath so that you know how you're feeling, you
That's
know.
right.
And
That's
then when we know how we're feeling, we know how to take care of ourselves. We can
right.
release that because if we don't, we're
Mhm.
holding that up in our body and our bloodstream. And that's where the disease comes from.
Talk
Yeah.
about it. Yes,
Yeah.
100%. Right. And that reconnection. So, again, as we're talking about keep evolving wellness, you're learning this about you as you continue on. I was working with a client recently, and they were talking about an incident which was cognitively traumatic, right?
Mhm.
Either they were living it in their head, and so pulling it out of their head, so then therefore it would be the emotional response. All right, how do you feel about that? So then we got into that, and I said, now, if you give me permission,
Mhm.
may I please ask your body to tell me, how is it responding to this?
Mm.
to which point they began to shiver and broke down in tears.
Mhm.
And they said, "Oh my goodness, I thought I had let it go, but it was still in my body." And so I'm hearing you working similar to
Mhm.
myself and some of the other clinicians,
Mhm.
making sure people are well connected, mind, body, spirit.
Yes. Yes. And it starts with feeling safe,
Mhm.
right? Because if we don't feel safe enough to get vulnerable, then
Mhm.
we can't get to that point where we go, "Oh, it's in there."
Yes.
Right? We have to release the tension from our body. We
Yes.
have to feel safe enough to just kinda let ourselves go to
Mhm.
be able to see where it is or what it
Mhm.
is. And then when you can't manage what you don't see.
Come on.
You can't manage what you're not
Right.
aware of,
Right.
right? And so
What you
that thing
probably
is just
say, write it
constantly
down.
that thing is just constantly going,
Yeah.
constantly going.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's good. That's
That's
good.
true. Jamila put, she said, most of the time we don't realize that we are not breathing, that we are holding our breath,
Yes.
right?
Yes, we do a lot of holding our breath throughout the day just running.
Mhm. Mhm.
Something happens and we might be holding our breath
Yes.
because something happened that triggered us in some kind of way,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
we're just going through the day. But just being able to stop and take a nice deep breath can
Mhm.
help recenter you, can help you clear
Mhm.
your mind to be able to think a little bit better.
Yeah. Is
Mhm.
there a breath exercise that you can do with us right now for just
Sure.
a moment or two?
Absolutely. So, one of my favorite things is lying down flat, but we're not doing that,
Okay.
okay? And you don't have to do that. If you're sitting with your back straight and your feet flat on the ground, let's do
Mhm.
that.
Okay.
Um, you can sit with your back straight and your feet flat on the ground
Mhm.
and have your hands, like in your lap or on the side of the arm of the chair, wherever you are, and
Mhm.
have your palms facing up.
Mhm.
And just notice your breath. You don't even have to change your breath, just notice it. Noticing the rise and the fall of your breath, noticing the rhythm of your breath, noticing the air as it comes into your body. And then take a nice long deep breath. And when I say take a deep breath, what I mean is gently pull the air through your nose, let it hit the back of your throat, and continue to pull it. That's a deep breath. Continue to pull it in through your lungs, all the way down into your belly. Let your belly expand outward. And then open up your mouth and let it go. Let the air come out of your mouth. Pull your navel all the way back towards your spine and let it go. And let your shoulders drop. And do that again. In through your nose, pulling in the breath of life, just feeling the sensation of the breath of life coming in through your nose, hitting the back of your throat, filling up your chest, filling up your belly. That's how you know you're taking a nice deep cleansing breath because your belly is extending. And then open up your mouth, drop your shoulders, and let go. Just let
Mhm.
go. Let the air come out. Exhale. Pull your navel back towards your spine. And
Mhm.
then what you would do is you would just practice that. You would do that by yourself. You can practice that breathing in and breathing out. And
Mhm.
do like a series of 5. Go from 5 to 0 at your own pace. An inhale and an exhale is 1, right? So you inhale and you exhale, let go. And I love it when stuff like that happens because that's how life is, right? It's not going to be totally quiet. It's not going to be totally still. Life keeps going, but we have the power to just be. We have
Mhm.
the power to just let ourselves be right here in this moment together, breathing in, pulling in the vital energy of life into every cell of your body. In fact, imagine you're pulling the air all the way down, down through your hips, down through your legs, down through your knees, the bottom of your legs, your ankles, to your heels of your feet, the bottom of your feet, and then exhale out the bottom of your feet. Yeah, just let go. And one of the things that I like to remind people is this is a relaxation, right? Your body's relaxing. All those nerves along your spinal column is relaxing. And your body is saying, "Ooh, we safe."
Mhm.
See, our brains are very loyal. They're there to keep us from danger. And
Mhm,
so it's doing its job all the time.
mhm,
And you can just say, you know what, brain, thank you for doing your job. We're safe. Breathe in.
mhm.
We're safe. It's okay. Thank you for doing your job. Let go. Exhale out through your mouth. And
Mm.
notice how the difference that you feel in your body just from doing that, just for that short amount of time.
Yeah, yeah. If you've chosen to participate in that, if you could just put in the chat how that has impacted you, what did you notice? If you want to share, you don't have to, but if you want to. I know for me, I feel it instantly, and I appreciated each of the the levels of it going right from the back of my throat, then further down into my stomach. And I said, well, I must be breathing regularly well because my stomach is staying extended. I think my husband might say it might be some of the things I'm eating, but I'm going to say I'm breathing well.
Oh gosh, I love that.
All
I'm
right.
telling you.
We got so
Oh,
Jamila
good,
said that was beautiful. We're not
good.
going to say this person is biased at all. He said calmness.
I'm grateful for that. I'm
Come
so grateful.
on. Jamila said, I noticed that my mind was quiet and my chest felt tight the longer I engaged the breathing, the longer I engaged
Uh-huh.
the breathing.
Yeah. And it will, and that's okay. Just let it go. You
Yeah.
know, what you'll notice is where the tension is held up in your body when you're doing that nice deep breathing, that's
Yep.
the tension. So
Yeah.
then you can imagine when you find a tension spot, because it's all in our bodies. We carry it all the time. We just don't
Mhm.
know. We just do it. Um, Breathe into that space. So next time, breathe when you breathe in gently, just gently breathe into that chest space and imagine the breath of life just releasing the tension from your chest, and then exhale, let it go.
Mhm.
Right. So a good practice, because I'm saying, I'm like telling you to do it at your own pace, and I'm like guiding you, breathe in, breathe out. But if you were to do it, you would like say breathe in for 4 seconds and then exhale for 7, because
Mhm.
you want your exhale to be longer than your inhale actually,
Mhm.
right? But you play with it and you notice instantly you feel that calmness, you feel like a recenter, you feel like a lightness, right?
Mhm.
Instantly, because we don't give ourselves permission to take a breath break.
Come on.
Okay? It's just a breath break.
Yes. Yes. Both Leslie said, I've yawned after each full breath. And Edna said, yes, repeat yawning after. She's also yawning after.
That's
Darcy
good.
Darcel said, I'm currently at work. This short exercise helped slow my thoughts. My jaws were tight and relaxed a bit. Thank you.
Oh, good, 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 good.
Yeah.
This stuff works.
Yeah.
You know, this
Yeah.
isn't, you hear more and more people talking about breath work and meditation, but
Mhm.
it's not what you're going to hear necessarily in in the healthcare industry, because it's about managing our illness, not
Mhm.
actually making us better. But this stuff actually makes us better. And there's research around that too.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm so happy to hear that you were able to do it at work,
Yeah.
just giving ourselves permission to just be,
Yeah.
not have to go anywhere or do anything, just be,
Yeah.
you know. I love that. I love, love, love that.
Yes. So now and Jamila said thank you, by the way.
My pleasure.
Yeah. I was
Pleasure.
gonna
I'm
say,
so glad. Thank you for doing it.
yeah, I'm glad. And Dana, thank you for asking. Dana way up. She said, can you give us a breath exercise? So so there it is. I'll also say when my clients feel that tightness in certain parts of their body, I tell them go in and talk to that part and find out
Mhm.
what's in there, right? Ask your
Mhm.
body because again, it's the reconnection.
Yeah,
So find out what is in that spot, and it's very interesting many times what the body is holding on to, that you don't realize that's what it is and that's where it is in the
that's
body.
right. That's right. That's good. Yeah, I was working with a client who, what happens is we have this the strongness, right? We're strong, we prevail, we
Mm-hmm.
rise. It's in our DNA,
Mm-hmm.
our ancestors had to,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so a lot of times we're still on autopilot and just pushing through things, and we overcame them,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
but it's held up in our body and we don't know it.
Oof.
And so when you get still, it shows up. When when you get still, it shows up, and
Mm-hmm.
then you can actually release it,
Mm-hmm.
because the wisdom of our body is talking to us.
Yes.
And you can just ask, like you said, just ask it. Just listen to what it's telling you
Yes.
and
Yes.
trust what it's telling you.
Yes.
And then we can actually release that out of our body. Yeah. That's
All right.
good.
So my mind has just ran a 400 with what you just said, and I'm trying to dial it back. So y'all get ready because I feel like it's about to come out like fire. All right. You have been warned. So the idea you said when you sit still, right? When you get still, when you be still, it shows up.
Mhm,
And then we talked about the trauma of just entering this space called Earth through the portals called our mothers, right?
mhm,
The
mhm.
body, the expansion, the contractions, all of that, that just happens physically, that
Mhm,
it sets our body into as Shane mentioned, a baseline way of being, just
mhm.
from the gate,
From the gate.
right? Then
Mhm.
we add on, or life stuff is added on to us. And
Yes.
we are not taught how to cleanse it, shake it off, so forth. So
Mhm.
it becomes our normal way of behaving, believing, and reacting in this world.
Yes.
Now, our nervous system is then triggered, and I'm going back here because this is the
Mhm.
brain stem back here, y'all. And this is considered the old brain, and this is where the fight, flight, freeze kicks in.
Mhm.
This is considered the new brain. This is where all the analytical decision making and all of that happens.
Mhm. That
When,
prefrontal cortex.
thank you. When this part is triggered, right? Think of it like volume. When this volume starts to go high, this volume goes low.
Come
When this comes online, this goes
on.
offline. So the only way to turn this part back on is to turn this part down. And how do we turn this part down? The fastest and easiest thing to do is to breathe
Breathe. That's right.
correctly.
That's
And
right.
and so as Michelle has said, learning what your calm body feels like,
Mhm.
giving yourself permission to be in a state of calm being is many times a new learning for us. And it's not that it feels uncomfortable, it's that it feels unfamiliar.
That's right.
So don't twist being comfortable and familiar as the same thing. They're two different things. There are a
Mhm.
lot of things that make you uncomfortable that you are familiar with,
Mhm. Ooh,
and
that's
therefore
good.
you try to pretend like you're comfortable with it, but you
Ooh,
ain't.
that's so good. That is so good. Yeah. And that was good.
Go ahead. And I
I
ain't
was
finished, but I'm a
I
pause.
know
Go
you're
ahead.
not. That's why I was like,
Go for it.
that's good. You sure?
Yeah, have at it.
No, I was just gonna say back to what I was saying about, the learn it's in the trauma that's carried through our DNA,
Yes,
right?
that's where I was
Um
going. So you go have at it. We're going to do Venus and Serena here. Have at it. Go ahead.
so, I often tell people that I honor my ancestors by resting,
Mm,
because the work that they did to keep us alive,
hmm
I get to bring that, and then I get to do something that they weren't able to do, which is this,
Come on.
right? We're in here talking about just connecting to the breath of life that we've been given.
Yes.
And when we can do that, we can use our brains
Mm-hmm.
way more than
Mm-hmm.
we do. You know, we only use 10 to 15% of our brains.
Mm-hmm. And my question has always been, well, what y'all doing with the rest of it? Because it's there.
We're not tapped into it.
Right.
We're not tapped into it. We're letting everything else plant seeds into it.
Right.
And that's what we operate off of.
Yes.
Right. So when we talk
Yes.
about taking that power back that we just innately have,
Yes.
this is the process.
Yes. So now to your point, right? And I love that statement, and I hope people wrote that down. Y'all know I did, right? I honor my ancestors by resting, right? We are now in a time where we are able to do more. We have permission, we have the luxuries that a lot of times those who came before us did not have. Part of the luxury is the self discovery. It is
Mhm.
the self awareness. The message of know thyself has been passed down generationally,
Mhm.
but society has imposed a lot of things which has planted the weed, right? And I'm specifically saying a weed because it has choked the life out of
Mm.
a lot because we have not taken the time to know ourselves fully and our capabilities fully and honing those divine design that is within us.
Yes.
And we now have permission to do that. So when you talk about keep evolving, right, it is not repeating the generational dysfunctions. I'm not calling them generational curses. I'm talking about generational patterns
Right.
and dysfunctions, behaviors, ways of being that might have served a purpose then, but are
Mhm.
not serving our greatest good now.
That's right.
And to your point, when it says now we have the opportunity to rest, to be still, to learn our breath and what each breath recognizes and symbolizes, as Darcel had put up, right? We have a breath, just like a baby has a cry that means they're hungry. They have a cry that means they're scared. They have a cry that means they're hurt. We
That's
have a
right.
breath that represents fear. We have a breath that represents excitement. We have a breath that represents peace. We have to know these different things. Go ahead, Michelle. I see you. Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking about I was just thinking about uh I don't know, I lost the thought. I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
distracted with the dog now.
that's all right. Well, let's talk about that. How are animals helpful in this wellness space?
Oh my goodness. One of the things that I've noticed is that I feel like we don't even deserve them.
Mhm.
They're so
Mhm.
loyal, they're so patient,
Mhm.
they're so consistent, they're so kind. It doesn't matter what, they're always there for you. So yeah,
Unconditional love.
I'm grateful for my little puppy. Thank you, Shy.
Mm.
He
Mhm.
just demands a lot of attention. So
Yes,
and he
yes,
deserves it. So we try to give it to him. But yeah, that is being able to actually allow ourselves to feel and not have to run from our feelings is
yes,
a privilege.
yes,
It's a privilege.
yes.
So
Now,
um
you have an event coming up. I know our time is getting ready to wind down, and I want people to know about this event that is coming up and is open to the public.
yes, it is. I'm so excited. Like I'm really excited. Like I haven't been this excited about something in a long time, and I realize it's like this business is my baby.
Mhm,
This business
mhm.
is my baby. And so it's the launch. It's the launch of the business, Keep Evolving Wellness. So I had said before,
Come on.
I had shared with you and your husband, I feel like I'm like one of the best kept secrets. Like
Mhm,
I'm fortunate because the woman that I work with, who's an awesome mentor and friend, when I got my full licensure, she was like, you could take your clients, like it wasn't like I had to start over.
Yes.
So I did that, but I have to
Mhm.
build the business, right?
Yes.
Like I have to build the
Yes.
business. And so while my clients appreciate and love me and they refer people to me, I want the community to know what I'm doing.
Come on.
I want to know the community to know the services that I offer, because I am a clinician and I do therapy, but I do other services too. Take all that professional experience that I have and couple
Mhm.
that with the information that I have as a therapist, and I offer different services to businesses and organizations and groups. And so I'm going to have a good time. We're in a
Yes.
space where people are really fearful.
Yes.
People are fearful of the unknown. People are
Mhm.
afraid about what's about to happen. A lot of people were going to go to DC and celebrate this inauguration on January 20th, and now they're
Mhm.
not.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to do something where we could get into joy and healing through celebration
Yes.
and lean into the energy that we want to see.
Yes.
I don't think we realize that we manifest things as much as
Yes.
we do,
Yes.
even when we're not trying to. So I don't want us to manifest more fear and
Mhm.
chaos. I want us to
Right.
manifest joy and healing and being what we want to see,
Yes.
being what we want to see happen. So it's like, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. It's my birthday. It's
Mhm.
inauguration day. We're doing a big celebration. We're going to have some group activities. You'll learn more about what I do with my clients. We're going to do some exercises, and we're going to party and play games
Come
and eat.
on.
So
It's all, and what time does this start? Where
it
is
starts
it?
at
How can
two
people
o'clock.
register?
Oh, yes, please. I'm going to share the link with you if I haven't, so people could just click on the link and
Yes.
register. It's free. All you need to do is register so we have a good head count, because
Yes.
there's only a few places left,
Okay.
spaces left, actually. It is a
Mhm.
limited amount of seats. So I'm grateful that people are registering. I want people to continue to register, because I don't know, you know how you do. People
Yes.
say they come in and then something should happen,
I
so
know.
please register.
Yes.
But it's at the Marriott Courtyard in West Hampton, the one off of 541, back
Okay.
by
In New
Home
Jersey,
Depot,
y'all. In New
in New
Jersey.
Jersey.
Mhm.
And it is at 2 o'clock on Monday,
Okay.
January 20th. So we starting at 2 o'clock.
All right. Well, put the link in the chat and then also email me or text me the link so I can put it in the write up. Also, so
Okay.
that way. All right, y'all. So we're talking January 20th. So that's next Monday. It is Martin Luther King Day. It is Michelle Hall-Boggan's birthday. We don't that's enough celebration right there. It is, and it is the launch, the official launch. So if y'all can put some congratulations up in the
Oh,
chat,
thank you. Thank
that
you.
would
Thank
be
you.
greatly appreciated. Here is another clinician, another resource, someone who is helping actively to heal the community and has answered the call on her life. And now that she has answered her call, she's ready for y'all to call her. Okay.
I love that. Yes. Yes. Call me. Call
Yes.
me.
Okay. And so Jamila says
Thank you.
congrats. Edna says congrats.
Thank you. Thank
Leslie
you.
says
Thank
happy
you.
birthday. Yes. Of course, look, Shannon says congratulations. Look, we're gonna go back in time one more time. Call me. Me someone to,
I
call
answered
me.
the call, so
Come
now
on.
I need y'all to give me a call. That's good. That is good. Yeah, I really it's a joy to be able to do what I do.
Yeah.
And I'm at the place now where, the girls are older, and it's like it's time for me to get out and really help the community. So
Mhm.
I'm not one to I don't know, put myself out there, right?
Mhm.
But I realize it's like it's not about you.
Mm-mm.
It's for
That's
the good
right.
of the people and for
Come
God's
on.
glory.
Come
So
on.
I'm putting myself out there so that
Yeah.
people can get this, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes. And just even right today, you choosing to come on here, you helped people just in the moment, just listening to you, but also in the breathing exercise, right? And I'm gonna put her on blast, the person who said that they were at work, who you helped. She is in charge of a psych ward.
mm.
So
And
come on.
that actually, so although I knew from a little girl what I wanted to do, going through working with the organizations that I worked with who take care of other people,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Seeing the hardship that we put on our staff
Mhm.
because of the compliance over regulations.
Yes.
We
Yes.
want people to have good quality of life, and we have to take care of the staff. And
Yes.
that actually continuously encouraged me to go
Yes.
back to school, because those are the folks that I find myself supporting, people
Mm.
who are like me, who
Yes.
were doing the work and
Yes.
trying to protect other people,
Come
right?
on.
Who are doing the work,
Come on.
just trying to make sure we have trauma informed leaders
Yes.
in these organizations, because the clients alone are one thing, but then all of the other stuff is
Yeah.
is traumatic too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
yes,
and you
thank
and
you
you
for
go out
sharing that.
and you do professional development. You're available for all of those different type things.
I am. And
Amazing.
you had me show the book, so I have to show the
Yes,
workbook
please.
before we go.
Yes.
The
Yes.
Feeling of Freedom. It's a workbook
Mm.
and journal. You said, write it down many
There you
times, but
go.
you'll see this on the website as well. So
Love
yeah,
it.
if you can come out, that'll be your best bet. I'll have books and workbooks there.
All right, y'all. Y'all done heard it from her. We got a birthday party to celebrate. We got a launch and a business to celebrate. We have another clinician to celebrate. We have some books to buy. We have some services to get. Is there any final word for this moment of inspiration or something that you would like to leave the audience before we close out?
Just I feel really good about it. I love that we were able to do a breathing activity, but this is how we empower our healing.
Hmm.
We empower our healing by giving ourselves permission
Yes.
to just be, you
Yes.
know, and lean into celebration.
Hmm.
Yes, lean into celebration. Celebrate everything. We focus so much on the things that don't go right. Let's
Yes.
focus really heavily on the things that do.
Come on. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it from her yourself. And I love the plants behind you. We're going to acknowledge them and say hello to them because they've been waving at us the whole time. Right. And a way to connect with nature. She has given you all some great gems. We have gone down memory lane. Of course, y'all know I'm playing Celebration in my head by Kool and the Gang. I'm not going to sing it at this moment. So we done had a whole. We done had a whole 80s, 90s playlist today. So,
Yes, we have.
okay. All right, y'all. Well, as always, thank you for joining me and joining us today. If you have not subscribed, social media handles for you Instagram.
So keep evolving wellness.
Yeah.
Keep evolving wellness. You'll find me on Instagram and on Facebook.
All right. So, y'all make sure you follow her there. If you have not clicked subscribe to Ask Dr. Walls 525, please be sure to do so. And as all, I'll see y'all next week. We got some shows coming up, so get ready, get ready. We got some changes coming up, so get ready, y'all.
Mm.
All right. As always, God bless you all. Continue to live your greatest life and have a wonderful rest of your day and the greatest weekend. We'll see you soon.
Awesome.
All right. Bye bye.
Peace.